noon, Tallahassee police have charged a woman with murder for yesterday's suspicious death. Earleen Tucker made her first court appearance this morning. Police say she killed an elderly woman at her home on Hartsfield Way. TPD says someone called 911 and told them that Tucker was in the parking lot dancing naked and trying to get into their car. Officers went into her home and found the elderly woman dead inside.
Okay, y'all. Now, I know this about to sound real messed up. And, you going to take it how you going to take it. It's my opinion. And, it's how I perceive not every dark-skinned individual, but most. Okay, now I told y'all, majority of my family members are dark-skinned women. Okay, the only reason why I have the skin complexion that I have, like I've told you all before, is because my biological mother is extremely dark. I'm not saying just dark skin, I mean extremely dark, right? And my biological father, he's a light-skinned man, right? Damn near albino, okay? Now, feel how you want to feel, okay? Now, you'll see why I brought that up, okay? So, the mother of Miss Tucker moved in with her, right? It's my understanding that she moved from out of town to be with her daughter. I think they said Miss Tucker is around 50-something years old. So that meant that her mother had to be pretty up there, right? She ain't no spring chicken herself, okay? Something about, I'm just going to fast forward, okay? Because when people, in the news give little details here and there, I always think it's kind of hit or miss because they might miss something. They can get, basically, when they give you a quick run through or something, they just basically painting a bigger picture for you. They're not supposed to really get into all the details because they don't really have time for all that, right? So we're going to just sum it up. The mama moved in with Miss Tucker. It probably was already some bad blood there, but nonetheless, she probably, thought, hey, me and my daughter don't see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, she knows I'm up in age. I believe she got my best interest at heart. She'll look out for me, right? Whenever I hear a parent moving in with the child, I don't always say, well, they must have always got along, because I mean, for the most part, I think we've all, had a disagreement with our mother, guardian or whoever that raised us. We're not going to always see eye to eye. We're going to fuss. Hey, you have certain family members that you can, get into all day long, but y'all had that relationship. If they need you, you're going to be there, right? And then you have certain family members that you never saw it for. They never really saw it for you. It just never worked. So you just don't deal with those family members. I have family members like that, right? So this is one of those ones that I feel like she gonna get off. And the reason why I feel that way is because I feel like she's been enabled. I feel like Miss Tucker has been enabled, and I feel like it's a strong chance that she might get off, right? So here's the thing. Y'all know I used to work in the mental health field, okay? So I know how people can be, right? That claim mental health issues and stuff like that. I'm not pretty sure of what Miss Tucker's diagnoses are. Now, hear me out, right? Based on what I've seen in the mental health field, I don't feel people have mental health issues. I couldn't say that, of course, at work, but I don't feel like you have mental health issues if you have ADHD or oppositional defiant, right? Not to downplay what a person's diagnosis is, but those are things that you can live with and have a very productive life, okay? Now, when we get into the schizophrenics of the world, or what's another one? Multiple personality disorder, those are two different things. That's a different type of beast. Okay? Now, as far as I'm just throwing a couple of things out there, I'm not gonna get into all of them. Now, unless you dealing with something like that, that's a different type of beast. Okay? Because I'm just letting y'all know, if you come in contact with an MF or they say they got schizophrenia, you need to run the other way. Okay? Now, don't let them think you know that's what you're doing. Distance yourself from them as slick as possible and as fast as possible, if that makes sense. Meaning, detach yourself from them very smoothly. Because a lot of people like that, they have issues when people don't want to be bothered with them. Okay? So, if they have ADHD, and I had a director that had ADHD. So, and she was very calm. Like, it just means that they have trouble staying focused. I had a medical director. I've had a couple of directors that had ADHD. And it's not like they're saying, oh, I just have ADHD. They really had been diagnosed with ADHD. So, and that was a medical director. She made over $100,000 a year. Back when I was working in the prison, working on the files and stuff in the male's prison. You know, my medical director, she had ADHD. So it don't, just because you have ADHD, that's no excuse to be, okay, for lack of better words, a crazy person. Because you can live a very productive life, you know, and you don't have to take meds for it. Some people do, some people don't, depending on how bad it is. I had one director that she needed her meds to stay focused. You could tell when she was off of them, because she was always up and down in our face bothering us, right? But when she had her medicine, she wasn't bothering us. Now my cousin said she probably had something else, because that means her nerves is that bad and she's always bothering y'all. It's something she wasn't telling us. Eh, eh, I don't know, right? But I'm not gonna say. Maybe, you know, that's the part. I don't know. I don't have her chart. So I don't know. Okay. People only gonna tell you what they want to tell you. Right. But I had another one when I was working at the prison. Um she didn't to me she seemed fine. But one thing I've learned from working in mental health, people always seem fine that aren't fine. You see what I'm saying? But okay, this is where I'm going. I don't know what Miss Tucker's diagnosis was or whatever, right? I don't know how long she's been dealing with it. I don't know if it's just something that was diagnosed with when she was younger, you know, because one thing they told us working in mental health, sometimes people get diagnosed with stuff when they was a child, and as they get older, you know, it could be a diagnosis can depend on a lot of things. It could depend on something that they was going through at school, at home, and it affected their mental health. They can grow out of it as they get older, or they, like my deuce used to say, like my little cousin, they might it might be something that is just, yeah, I don't like the way she put that. Basically, it's something that they could have learned, you know. That's why they say be careful saying stuff around kids like, um, you know I'm crazy, you know, because they'll act out and say, you know I'm crazy, you know, little stuff like that. You know, just y'all, I just feel like it's a cop out. That's where I'm going with it. I don't know her diagnosis again, okay? But I feel like it was a cop out. I feel like it's a cop out. Um, they said she worked in a nursing home, right? She had a home. To me, it sounded like she was living a very productive life. She may have faced her challenges like the rest of us, but when I think of mental health, I've seen some people that you could, you know, that really don't have all their marbles, right? So when I see people that are able to go to work, you know, pay their bills, don't nobody have to be their payee or over their money, I just feel like they need to go get some very healthy therapy, meaning they need to go see a therapist on a regular. And I can't stress this enough, y'all. Write in a journal. I don't care how old you are. If I don't regret anything else in my life, I regret being younger and not writing in a journal sooner. I lied to you now. The other day, I was just saying to myself, I said, I wish I had a journal sooner. Then, I started keeping my journal when I was what? 23 maybe. I wish I kept my journal sooner than that. I wish I was writing in my journal back when I was in middle school, high school. And it's not so much of just writing a book. It's so much of you can look back and see how far you've come. Just don't depend on your memory to, and your feelings to, help you out. I wish I had kept it way back then when motherfuckers was being mean to me in school, when motherfuckers in my so-called family was mistreating me, so I could look back at those feelings, how people made me feel, how, I wish I had kept that. I'm a big advocate for stuff. Like, I can look back at my journal now and say, wow, I'm gonna give you an example. I notice around every March, I'm journaling a lot. I don't journal every day, but I'm trying to get myself in the habit of it. I look at March and I'm like, okay, for example, March 22. I could flip through the pages and see it's a lot of March 22, 2022. And I could say to myself, wow, it's a lot. It was a lot going on in March. What was going on? Then I can look back and see I had a boss that mistreated me and I was tired of him, right? Or I can look back at, for example, August of 23. That's last year, right? And I can look back, or July of last year. I can look back between June and August. It's a lot. It's a lot in there. It's a lot in there. And I can flip through and I'm like, what was going on? It's a lot of pages around this time frame. Oh, because I had people on the job teaming up on me, and I can look back in June, and for me, I could read where I said, "Oh wow, I hope they don't try to team up on me to get me fired," right? And then around August, that's what they did. You see what I'm saying? So I can look back and see like certain individuals from my past and it teaches me wisdom. Like I can look at my feelings and how people played in my face, right? One person in particular I was nothing but kind to, right? And I remember one particular page. You'll see why I brought this up. It was one particular girl in that job. I want to say around May of last year, right? I was buying stuff, not buying stuff, but like I would go to 7-Eleven and I'd get her a Red Bull, or I would go get some seafood for lunch and I would get her a plate. Nothing but kind in this girl, right? You see why I brought this up. My dudes was like, that bitch shady. She run with people that give you a hard time. Why are you buying friends? I got mad with my dudes. Me and her got to argue. I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. She said, that's exactly what you're doing. Because she run with people that give you a hard time. Be leery of people that hang with people that give you a hard time, right? So me and her got to argue. No, no, no. She's not like that. My dudes. Yes, she is. You see how she get around other people and treat you differently. Yes, she is. Then fast forward to July of 2023, my dudes was right. You see what I'm saying? So, and you can see that in the journal. You can see the whole situation play out. And I can look back. That's something I want when I have children. I want to pass that down to my kids. So when they look back at that and they see July from May all the way up to August, they can see how people tried to say early on, oh, she tripping, you overreacting. And then come around August, I was right the whole time. They was teaming up on me. People jumping in it that ain't had nothing to do with it. Right? So this is why I'm a big advocate for a journal. I feel like no matter how old you are, you need a journal. Okay? Now, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to bounce. Okay. Now, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people are not going to like it. I don't care, because it's how I perceive certain things. Now, I'm going to be honest with you all based on my experiences. Again, based on my experiences, okay? Now, one thing I can say, I never really experienced, like, okay, I was having a conversation with someone the other day. She was a dark-skinned female. And she told me how a lot of girls say, well, a lot of light-skinned girls say dark-skinned girls hate on them because they're light-skinned and the other girl's dark-skinned. Like I told her, I haven't really experienced that too much. So I never really had people say, yeah, you hating on the light-skinned girl because I never really gave a fuck, you know what I'm saying, who light-skinned and who dark-skinned, you know what I'm saying? So I don't really have that much experience with that kind of stuff. So I can't really speak on the light skin versus dark skin stuff. And I can't. So the closest thing that I came to that was when I had a best friend when I was in middle school, elementary through middle school. And you may hear me bring her up every now and then. She's a big time stripper now. Well, I'm not sure if she still strips or whatever, but for back in the day, a couple years ago, she was a big time stripper. She probably still is. I don't know, but her mother is black. She told me her father is half white, half Italian. That's where she got her looks from, right? So that she said that's what they told her. Peapie said that's what they told her. So I don't know. She said that she grew up realizing that she did not look like the rest of her family, and I've met her family. She don't really look like them people. So she knew something was up, right? So the closest thing I came to that, matter of fact, that's the only situation in my life thus far that I've dealt with, dealing with that was, anything around that colorism thing was the lady at my church, because she used to always throw off and say, well, I'm a red bone. So when we would go to like water parks and skating rinks and stuff, the guys will always come up to her. And I really never paid it no mind for real, until she brought it up, So I never really, because I knew my parents wouldn't allow me to date no way. So it was no need for me to really, be upset if they would invite her to a party or stuff like that, because I couldn't go, So I never really, but I remember her saying, I'm gonna go to the party. I probably leave your house early to go to the party, and I'm like, okay, and she would be like, ask your parents, can your mom and them, can you come? And and I'd be like, you already know they're gonna say no. You already know. And she would say things like, you already know they're gonna be crazy about the red bones, and stuff like that. So I think it was one particular time. I really liked the guy. I told y'all this story before, and he was having a party. He invited both of us and two other girls we used to keep around us. But it was, it's a group of friends, but it's 2 out of 4 or 2 out of 3 that's really close. You see what I'm saying? So long story short, you'll see why I brought this up. She was like, I couldn't go as usual. The other 2 parents, one in particular, her mama was kind of, you got to catch her in a good mood for her to give you a yeah. She was one of them kind, right? But the other one, her parents was kind of like my parents. They weren't going for it, right? So, she ended up taking somebody else that she knew from the neighborhood or whatever, right? Because their parents ain't give a fuck, right? So, long story short, he ended up throwing a party. From what I heard, that's when I found out, which was true. They was messing around, right? Because she started having sex young. You'll see why I brought this up. So long story short, we got into it because, I really liked him, but I couldn't go nowhere. And they could go everywhere, right? So we got into it. She was like, I can't help you want the red bone. I can't help you brown skin. And he after the light skinned girl with the hazel eyes and the curly hair. So that's when we got into it. Because it wasn't based on the principle of you being red. It was based on the principle because I liked him. So we that was actually the nail in the coffin of our friendship. Is that and a couple of other things, but that sealed the deal for me because I really liked him. And one thing that she did, she was like, look, I can't help you brown skin and I'm red. And what she was just saying, and just a couple of things that she was saying, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it because what the fuck does you being light skinned and red have anything to do with you knowing I like somebody? You know what I'm saying? And you doing it. And like I told her, she said, well, you had already pissed me off, so I had to teach you a lesson of how your man can be took. And just the shit she was saying. So I was telling the lady about it that went to my church, and she was like, are you jealous she's red? I said, what? So I ended up telling my pops about it, and I told my older cousin about it. And they said, well, how in the fuck did she pull that out of that? What you saying? They knew what I was saying, right? But in her mind, which she was a dyke. She was a dyke in the church. She thought nobody knew about it. But we been knowing she was a lady on the choir. We been knew she was eating that lady poo poo. We been knew that, right? So anyway, she was a dyke. So nonetheless, and no, I'm not saying let her soul rest in peace because she had messed with her. She had messed with her. So anyway, so yeah, y'all. So I ended up telling them about it. I had to beg my cousin not to say nothing to her because, stuff she was just saying, but they got what I was saying. How she was throwing off and shit, how she carried the situation. So, um, nonetheless, my cousin was like, she's one of them light skinned females that feel like she look better than brown skinned girls. And that was the first encounter that I really had with something like that. Because I remember people, I remember one time being in the 6th grade where I remember little stuff, but it didn't really never register. Like one particular time in the 6th grade, the guy was like, you pretty for a brown skinned girl. And the other guy was like, she caramel, right? But so-and-so, she got that red skin, right? So I'm like, okay, hey, I keep myself up, I smell good, da-da-da, right? So he was like, but she looked better than you. And this was in the 6th grade, right? We ended up jumping him anyway. And I was like, I ain't really never paid no mind. All I knew was she was funny. And I like funny people. So when I would be around her, she would say some of the dumbest things, bro. When I tell you, this girl was a character. She was a character. So I ain't never really sized her up for real. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, just look at her and look at you. And I'm like, I looked at her. I'm like, okay, she got, I didn't know the girl was mixed. At first, I just figured she was a light-skinned girl, like I told my dudes. And I said, Ma, I just thought she was light-skinned. And she said, no, it's something in her. I said, you think so? She said, yeah. She said, yeah, it's something there. And I said, I just thought she was a light skinned girl with good hair. So, because as we all know, you got light skins that look like, not trying to be funny, you got light skins that look like Ice Spice, right? Then versus you got light skins, who's one that look like they got something in them? Then you got light skins that look like, who's one with natural good hair? I'm trying to think of somebody, y'all, that's a light skinned celebrity with natural good hair. I I want to say Lotto, but I haven't seen Lotto hair. So, but y'all get the point. Like, you got the nappy headed light skinned girls, then you got the light skinned girls that look like they really have something in them. You see what I'm saying? So I just figured she was a light skin that just has, good hair, right? Until I got older, and then I started really, knowing what biracial means. I had a good Judy back in middle school after her that was biracial with nappy hair. You see what I'm saying? You would not think her. I've met her parents. Her parents was like, her mama was white and her daddy was black. So I've seen it, but I didn't really never. Anyway, so nonetheless, okay. So in conclusion, I feel that Miss Tucker's full of it. I feel like she's full of it. I feel like through her entire life, she's probably used the fact that she has a little mental problem as a crutch. Like I said, in my humble opinion, I feel like she was living her life as a productive adult. Okay. Now am I in her life? No, don't want to be. Do I know her personally? No, don't want to. But based on the details that we have gathered thus far, unless something else comes out of the norm, now don't get me wrong, people can snap. We hear it all the time. People, being productive, never showing any signs before, and then it later comes out that they had a mental health problem all along, but nobody knew about it. Uh, yeah, that can happen, and that could have been the case here. But to me, to be honest, y'all, I feel like, here's the thing. I don't know about nobody else, but I'm at a place in my life where I haven't always done things the right way. I haven't always responded to things the right way, right? Versus I've encountered people that have mishandled me. I told y'all growing up, I used to fight a lot. Part of the reason why I couldn't go nowhere in middle school and high school, because I was always on punishment for fighting. That, all the time. So that's part of the reason why my parents won't let me go nowhere, because I was always sent home, right? So here's the thing. The reason why I brought that up with the old good Judy back in the day, the light skin versus brown skin, caramel, dark skin, whatever. Because there are females out here that think they are better because their skin is lighter. Me personally, like, I had to humble her all the time. Your teeth yellow. You don't take a lot of baths. Your feet stink. We had to throw away my whole rug in my room because her feet was smelling bad. You see what I'm saying? When we went up to the amusement park, when the lady from our church took us up to the amusement park, she told me in confidence she don't know if she want her around no more because she's thinking up the stairs and the carpet and stuff because her feet stink. I think it was called athlete's foot or some foot or some shit she had. She said it was a feet disorder where, I'm pretty sure she done handled it now since she's older and she's in a club and stuff. So, and she was one of the people, she would tell me, she would say she don't have to brush her teeth as long as she goggle. But yes, you do, because you got that gunk up there. It's stuck up there. You see what I'm saying? You got to get that in between them teeth and stuff and all up around them corners because that shit was caked up. Now, by her going through all those years and not taking care of her teeth, that comes from her parents not being on her about that. Now, she done went and took the cheap way out, the lazy way. What's them little veneers, the indentures, the ones that the girls wearing, the ones like, love me some Eva Marcel, but she got them. And they too big for y'all mouth, right? So, I don't care what nobody say. Even if your teeth not white, your natural teeth, I would rather my teeth be a little teeny yellow, just a little teeny bit, like between the white and the yellow. We didn't see people with teeth like that. Between the white and the yellow. Because I would rather be like that. Because you can always go get you some, like I got the teeth whitening strips. You can always go get them and white them back. I'd rather walk around with them between white and yellow, rather than going to get them big ass horse mouth teeth. That shit look terrible. Anyway, so nonetheless, I know I get off topic a lot, but here's the thing. Okay, y'all. So I just found out she has schizophrenia. I did a little more research. Okay, that now she won't play. She won't play. She really was unhinged. Like I told y'all before, my thoughts still stand. You know, I didn't know if she was like the kind. For example, I told y'all I had a good Judy after the stripper. People used to say she was off, right? And she looked off. But I didn't care because she was funny as shit, right? She was so funny. And looking back, a lot of my good Judys were funny, you know. So I didn't care what people were saying. You know, I remember one time a girl called me that I found out later on was phony, but we would keep in contact before I found out she was phony. But anyway, she would be like, "Why you with that crazy girl?" And I would say, don't you know, da da da, and she would say, oh yeah, the one that looked kind of. I say, don't do that. She was like, no, I'm saying, why you with that crazy girl anyway? And I would say, because she's funny. She said, oh, she is. I said, yeah, she real funny. She say some dumb shit, right? She was like, oh, okay. So boom, I had to cut her off too, and because you'll see why I brought it up. She was star shit. She was star shit, and she told me later on down the road she really did have a diagnosis, but I can't remember what it was. I can't remember exactly. This was middle school, so she was star shit. And when I went and talked to her, she would say things like, "Well, you know, I'm crazy. You know, I told you I have a diagnosis. I have a disability." But my thing was, you know, I didn't know if this lady was like her. She would go back. I told y'all I was always suspended. So when I would be suspended and I wasn't in school, she would go and tell other people I was talking about them or I said something about them. And I would come back to school and I got bitches, you know, starting shit saying, I heard you was saying da da da. And when I would check her on stuff, she would say things like, well, you know, I'm crazy. So you can't be mad because I told you I had a diagnosis, you know? So I'm like, you know, I didn't know if she was like this person basically using her mental health issues as a crutch to be an awful person, basically. So nonetheless, yeah, so she has schizophrenia. So okay, so yeah. That further supports what I'm saying. She's probably gonna get off, y'all. They probably gonna go ahead and put her in a little home. They gonna probably go through the motions of the court and all that other stuff. I was gonna go say how she should have kept her mom away from her and you know and all this other stuff, but yeah, that basically X all that out because she wasn't operating in her right state of mind. Okay, those schizophrenics, y'all, in my humble opinion, out of anybody on the mental you know, spectrum, I'm gonna just put it that way. I think the schizophrenics are the worst ones. One of the worst, top 5. I put it that way. Top 5. I think they're on the top 5s because they can flip on you. In a matter of seconds, they can really be having a very intellectual conversation with you. And out of nowhere, they can flip on you in a matter of seconds. They say don't beef with mental people. They say that. My dudes always told me that. Because they can hurt you up and don't get no time. They can hurt you up and don't get no time. She always told me that. So, I think she gonna get off. Before I found out she was a schizophrenic, when they said she cut her heart out her chest, uh, yeah, I knew something. I said maybe she not faking. Maybe she's not faking, but Ooh, this was a tough one. This was a tough one. Um, I was gonna go into all that, how she should have kept her mom away. If she felt some type of way towards her. Not even on some holding a grudge type of shit, but on some, sometimes it just don't work with certain people. But now that I know she's a schizophrenia, she wasn't operating on all her four wheels, no way. So yeah. Um yeah, that definitely changed my mind on a lot of shit. Whew, this was a tough one. But I don't know. This was a tough one. Now I'm gonna say this and I'm done with it. Okay. I know I probably already said it. Look, my clinical director when I used to work in the mental health field, the way she used to put it for those that, are a little confused, she used to always say, a bipolar person, when they flip on you, they might fuck you up, right? But you'll live to tell the story, right? But a schizophrenic, they might murk you. You see what I'm saying? People don't understand. People always think the bipolar ones are the worst ones. Because see, they have mood swings, they have their highs and their lows. Just because a person may be bipolar, that don't always mean they're violent. People don't understand that part. Bipolar, it can also mean, they're wishy-washy basically. They don't commit to anything, or they may be depressed one minute, next minute they may be sad. Most bipolar people usually have like a little depression problem. Most, not all. Or it can mean some days they're happy, they're doing their errands, going to work, living a productive life. Next minute they have trouble getting out of bed. It's different types of, uh, it's different types of symptoms, different types of behaviors, and it's also levels to a bipolar. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. But, you have some people that are bipolar and people never know. They may suspect something is off, but that person probably is able to hide it, or they don't tell people. Or you have some people that are bipolar that really show it, and they usually are really mentally ill, right? But then, you have the people like the schizophrenics, right? You really have to step on eggshells with them. You really do, right? We had one in particular lady with that was a schizophrenic. Long story short, because I gotta go. Um, she came in the office. She talked you know, um, very clear. She was very articulate, but she didn't know I had already saw her chart. So I already knew something was off. You see what I'm saying? So she was telling me all these stories about this person at fault, this person at fault. Her family had completely turned her back on her. She didn't have not one person in her family that, nobody, right? So when I heard stuff like that, I'm not one of the type of people that's going to say, well, is it everybody else or is it you? Because sometimes people really can, be full of shit, right? You know, but sometimes there aren't. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't, right? So, I'm not the type of person that's gonna say something like that. But by me already having her chart and looking at her criminal record, I knew she was trouble. You see what I'm saying? Now, it'd be different if you telling me people were being mean to you and it's like an argument and maybe like people tag team you. Okay, that could be like people following the masses. But when I find out that you stabbed your uncle, you were convicted of robbery, she came in the office telling us, see, she didn't know we had already knew, you know, you can't come in the office, well, telling us that you can't get a job, the world is against you, nobody wants to help you. But then we find out you were convicted of robbery, you're a felon. That's why. And then when we were talking to her about it, trying to help her get to the bottom of, balancing certain emotions and stuff, she told us that she did it because, you know, oh, how about this? How about this? when we said, well, what about all the people you affected by taking the money out the bank, which I'm pretty sure they had their money back. But, just, it's an inconvenience and stuff, right? How about this? She said, well, they need to get over it because we needed it. You don't think they needed their money? So that's why I say, this is a conversation for another day. But, it's just people like that I have a hard time feeling bad for. Because it's like, fuck you. I needed your money more than you needed your money. But you want me to give you sympathy. Now, of course, I couldn't tell her this. But I'm saying to myself, this lady don't deserve nobody's sympathy. Anyway, y'all get where I'm going with it. Let's just let it be that. Y'all, I'm just over it. Like, I'm just over it. So, I took a little piece of shit job, right? Y'all know I got fired from my night job a couple of weekends ago. So, I took me a little, side gig on the side. Y'all, when I tell y'all I am so fed up, I'm just so fed up with these jobs, right? I just want to find me something that during the day that I don't have to keep dealing with these jobs on the weekends or at nights or whatever. I want to find something like my day job is enough, but after I pay everything, it's literally nothing left, right? So I want a job that can help me support my shopping addiction and put money in my pocket. And it's just not, it's like I keep telling, I don't like to drive a lot. I like to work close to home. I'm one of those people. When I travel, but when I'm home, I'm home. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to drive far for work. But part of me just like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You want more money. You might have to get uncomfortable for a bit until you are able to get comfortable. And it's just like, I'm tired of this, y'all. Like, I'm so tired of this. So I took me a little piece of shit night job. I should have known the company was fugazi when he said he was going to pay the people under the table. I should have known then something won't right with the company. Okay, I don't know about nobody else, but I don't want nothing under the table. Pay me, I want my shit on the I-9. Okay, I'm just being honest. Like, I should have known then something was up with this company, right? And I am so, I'm just so over it at this point. I feel like I'm drained, with these jobs. I want to start my own shit, but in the meantime, between time until I get things in motion, I gotta look at some other avenues. I have to look at some other avenues. I have to look at some other avenues because it's not doing it for me no more. It's not. I gotta get back onto the drawing board. It's not doing it for me no more, bro. Like, when I tell y'all, like, so I took the other piece of shit job, the other piece of shit night job or whatever, which it was a weekend gig. Okay, fine, because on my day job I don't work weekends, right? So, boom. Okay, so I took the little piece of shit job or whatever. Okay, he said you can either do 6s or 12s, right? Okay, fine, So it's black owned. I hate to say it. Well, fuck that. I'm saying it. Sometimes it seems like with black owned companies, y'all just don't have y'all shit together. I said it, okay? And I see why sometimes the white people don't like to do business with y'all. Y'all always try to act like they being racist. Sometimes they may be. Sometimes I don't think they are. Maybe, sometimes, maybe not. But, I mean, sometimes y'all just don't have y'all shit together. Just plain and simple. So, I should have known something was up. He contacted me, like, last week, asking me, did I want to do it. I heard from him maybe, like, 2 weeks ago. He contacted me again. He said he needed security in a lounge or something. Y'all already know, I'm not really a nightclub type of chick, but I've heard lounges are a little more laid back. I already said when I started back dating, I want to go to a lounge because I heard it's laid back, not loud music. That's more my vibe. That's more somewhere that, you know, I could see myself being. Where the fuck is the interstate, right? Get me to the nearest interstate. So, boom. So, okay, so I drove damn near 2 cities over. You know, on the way here, it was not raining, but on the way back, of course, you can hear the rain, right? Boom. So, I'm going to make this quick because I'm about to turn back on my GPS. Because I don't know where the fuck, who the fuck do I think I am driving around this area like I know this area? Looking for a GPS. I mean, interstate. I just don't like shit like that because something told me not to come fool with him. I already told y'all the older I get, you know what I'm saying? I ain't really too, I done lost a lot of faith in the brothers. I'm just being honest. I done lost a lot of faith in the brothers, and it's not as far as relationships. It's just out in the community. You try to give these people a benefit of the doubt, and then they prove you right every single time that they ain't shit, right? So boom, you know, I done just lost a lot of faith in the brothers. I ain't really here for the black man, for real. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm shown otherwise, but I don't really be trying to fuck with y'all. I ain't really trying to fuck with y'all for real. To be honest, in no capacity, not in the workforce, not as friendships, not even, you know, I ain't really too here for y'all for real. Boom. Okay, I said it. So, long story short, because I'm about to turn on my GPS, something told me, I just had a really bad feeling about him. My left hand was itching. That means you about to lose some money, meaning I was losing gas. Came all the way out here, shucking and jiving, however they say it, you know, driving all the way out here, and he tells me that, oh, they got enough people, you can go home. Basically, you told me that people had 6s or 12s. I told you 6s, okay? When I first came there, he asked me again. I should have known something was up. Y'all, I told y'all my shirt size 3 times. First you said it was a venue. Now you said then I get there, it's a stadium. They just ain't got that shit together. It's typical for a black-owned company. It's typical. If y'all ain't gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. It's typical. I done lost a lot of faith in the brothers throughout the years. That's why I don't really be trying to fuck with y'all for real. Okay, boom. So, I get there or whatever. First you tell me black pants. Then you tell me green pants. I said, okay, well, I went out my way to go get the black pants, right? Okay, boom. He said, well, you know, it's okay. You could just wear them. I'm saying to myself, then you just say, okay, then he tell me green pants, right? He was like, first he told me we just gonna get you a shirt as long as you got some black cargo pants, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Some said, okay, well, you can always use your old security pants. It's been a while since I've done it, but I still keep them. I lost a lot of weight, but I still keep them or whatever, right? So boom. Okay, so I went out my way to go to Amazon, you know, to get the pants or whatever, right? So put this shit on, you know, what's it called when you get it fast? Whatever. I was putting this shit on fast so I could get them express or whatever the fuck you call it. To get the pants fast, and you know that's extra, right? To get the pants all fast, then you gonna tell me, well, we gonna do green pants. That's what I be saying with y'all. Y'all just don't be having y'all shit together, right? So, boom. So, and then it's like y'all want people to move heaven and hell for the bare fucking minimum on these jobs, right? So, boom. Okay, y'all, it was just a mess. Long story short, then I said, so y'all telling me last minute, so I'm gonna have to wear leggings because at this point, where I'm gonna get them from, right? So, boom. He said, okay, cool, you can wear leggings, right? So I wear leggings, right? Boom. Get there again. He said, what's your shirt size again? I said to myself, damn, motherfucker, I told you 4 times at this point, right? So I went ahead and told him again, extra large, right? Okay, boom. So he couldn't find an extra large. So some said, I saw that large in his hand. So some said, wait a minute, that might fit you. So I put up the shirt. I said, oh yeah, it was kind of big on me. So I'm guessing the clothes may run big. Who knows? Boom. Okay, long story short, y'all, he comes tells me, the other guy with the smelly bro, comes tells me that the people say, we got too many people, you can go home. I'm like, so wait a minute. I thought y'all said 6. Some said these people ain't got their shit together. First of all, when you do them security contracts, y'all supposed to already How that shit rolled out, how y'all want stuff, what's expected from each other. You know, they ain't got that shit together, bro. They ain't got that shit together. You know, it's typical. It's typical for a black-owned company. It's typical shit. That's why I don't be trying to fuck with y'all for real. It's typical. So I done drove all the way out here. 30 minutes to drive out here. Now I gotta drive 30 minutes back home for 3 hours and 30 minutes. What the fuck? It's typical. It's typical shit. That's why I don't be trying to fuck with y'all for real. I ain't trying to give y'all no pussy for real. I don't really even want to be holding conversations with y'all for real. Because y'all just, it's typical. You ain't got to worry about me no more longest. Then he talking about he pay his employees with cash out. I should have known then. That's my fault. I should have known then.